Hi guys, welcome back to another video. This is going to be my first attempt at defeating the Wayward 1 on expert difficulty. I actually did a little bit of strategizing this time since I just beat this guy normal recently. The difference between normal and expert is on normal. So he has this alignment chart. He starts in position 1, moves to 2, 3, and 4. And you can only do full damage to him if from a prepared spell cast from the corresponding breach. So 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, 4 to 4. In normal mode, if you're misaligned, so say he's in position 2 and your spell is in the third breach, that would be misaligned. It does half damage rounded up, which isn't that bad, especially if you're doing, 5-6 damage, you're still doing 3. It's reasonable. On expert difficulty, everything gets reduced to 1. So you have to be in the same alignment as him to do any significant damage to him at all. He also can do damage to Gravehold when shifting position. You either have to have an aligned spell there during an unleash, or Gravehold takes damage. So I have two different thoughts on that. I wanted to go with this one first because it still uses Malister, who is the only mage in this expansion. So I wanted to include him in all of my attempts. If I don't beat him on this first try or come very, very, very close, I will switch it up though, because I feel like he's really designed to take down the Blight Lord, and his unique benefits aren't as good for Wayward 1. For one thing, he has no first breach at all. Secondly, his Immolate special ability doesn't synergize super well with Wayward 1, especially compared to the way it does with the Blight Lord. And his special ability is decent. But it does more to counteract the effects of the Blight Lord, I feel like, especially synergizing with Molten Hammer. That whole combination works really, really, really well. That's the way to beat the Blight Lord, basically. With this, it's a little bit less of a benefit, because basically it just lets him buy Radiance, and then prep it to whatever reach he feels like. That said, I still think I have a good shot. Actually, even if I beat him on this, I'm still going to try my second choice. But anyway, I paired him with Jan because she starts with 2 open breaches. Her third and fourth breach cost 9 and 10 to open. Her unique card is a Moonstone Shard, which is crystal, basically. It generates 1 Aether, 2 versus a gem. So that's nice. And then for cards, I actually didn't pick them out this time. I'm taking a Jade. 2 costs generate 2 Aether. Leeching Agate. 3 costs generate 2 Aether. When you gain this, gain 1 charge. Sorry, I'm a little disorganized right now. My thoughts. And I swapped out the gems. The third gem, so we're going with Clouded Sapphire, cost 6, gain 3 Aether. The first time you play this turn, gain 1 charge. Brought back Focusing Orb instead of Molten Hammer. 4 costs, focus any player's breach, destroy this, Gravehold gains 3 life. And I'm keeping Temporal Helix, cast any player's prep spell without discarding. I feel like this is key to defeating Wayward 1. The key here, I feel like, is to get high damage spell in the correct breach and then bang it out on him. Blaze, this is a 4-cost spell, deals 2 damage, and when you purchase this spell, you may put it in either player's discard pile. Deals 2 damage plus an additional damage for each other time you've cast Blaze this turn and for each other Blaze you currently have equipped. So if you have 4 of them, this goes from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 damage, 6 in your third and fourth breaches. And as you cast them, it does not... its damage doesn't get reduced. So the really good thing about that is it's a really cheap, really spell that's easy to get, all 5 of, on one mage. And then you can keep all 4 prepped, and then whatever position he's in, hopefully you have temporal helixes, and you can just keep casting them that way. You don't even have to use them. But you can just keep them prepped, and it's 5 or 6 damage every time. Plus, they're cheap, and they're easy to leave up to negate his Gravehold Suffering 3 damage. I then have Essence Theft as my 5 cost, 3 damage spell. Discard a card to gain 1 life. I'm also trying Sage's Brand. This is one of the reasons I'm doing this, is I want to include Sage's Brand. Not because I think it's good, but it is kind of designed to combat Wayward 1, where this spell takes up 2 breaches at a time. So it can occupy, it's easier to have this one aligned, because if he shifts position, it's already in, so you can have this there ready to attack him. If he shifts, it's already there ready to be discarded, and it's also still in position after a shift. It does 6 damage, which is pretty high, and while prepped, you get to draw an additional card, so 6 instead of 5. And then Radiance, 8 cost, deal 5 damage, each ally draws a card. So the strategy here is get the economy going, get them each 1 Clouded Sapphire, preferably 2, and then have Malister focus on getting Blazes and Radiance. Essence Theft and Radiance, and have Jan get all the Blazes and Sage's Brands. And then they'll hopefully each get a couple Focusing Orbs. I would like to get 2 Focusing Orbs, 2 Temporal Helixes each, and 2 Clouded Sapphires each, plus whatever on the smaller gems. But that's kind of the idea there. And then Jan's ability is Black Mirror. It only costs 4 charges, which allows you to double cast a spell. Cast any player's prepared spell without discarding it, then cast that prepared spell again. So it's kind of like a Temporal Helix, except then you cast. The nice thing about it is you can prep a spell and then activate it with Black Mirror and double cast it on that same turn. So that's another little advantage to it. So I could potentially throw up Sage's Brand on her, and then, or if he has a Radiance prepped, I can double cast that Radiance and draw 2 cards, even if I don't have a Temporal Helix. So that's kind of the idea there. The other idea that I actually like better is to use Zaxos and Brahma. Swap out Essence Theft and Sage's Brand for Feral Lightning and Scrying Bolt. Keep everything else the same. And Brahma will grab what is swap Essence Theft out for? I forget. Oh, Brahma would end up... Oh, Feral Lightning and Scramble, yeah. So then Zaxos would stack all the Focusing Orbs and all the Feral Lightnings, and Brahma would grab your Scrying Bolts and Blazes, and Temporal Helixes, basically. And Radiances. Is that right? And the idea is you'd prep all the Feral Lightnings to Zaxos's unopened breaches while using all the Focusing Orbs on Brahma, getting all of her breaches open really quickly so that she has Blaze, and then she can plug in Scrying Bolts and Radiances when she needs to. And I would also swap in Searing Ruby for Clouded Sapphire to just make it easier to afford spells. I wanted to do that this time, but it didn't make sense to have Searing Ruby when I don't have a 6-cost spell. For me. Anyway, sorry. for rambling. Let's just see how this goes. Even if I win, I'm going to try the other one just because I think it's kind of sexy. All right. Nemesis goes first. Quantum Maze, power 2. If any player has an aligned spell, a player with an aligned spell will suffer 5 damage. Okay. And we're going Malister. He is going to... He's going to pay 2 to focus his second breach, prep Immolate, and he'll pay 2 to buy a Jade. He gets to go again. Immolate automatically goes off because that is not an open breach, just a focused. That brings Wayward 159. Unaligned, but still does 1 damage. And then for 5, he is going to buy Leeching Agate and another Jade. And that gives him a charge. So I didn't open either breach. But I got 2 Jades and a Leeching Agate. Quantum Maze, power token comes off. And we draw Skewer, Unleash. Any player suffers 3 damage and then draws a card. Okay. Jian's going to take 3. Oh, what's the Unleash do? Shift position to position 2. There is no spell prepped, so Greyfold's going to take 3 damage. That drops us to 27. All right, and then Jian's going to take 2 damage. Brings her to 7 and draws a card. Okay, Jan gets to go. She's going to prep 2 sparks. And then she generates 3, 4, 5 towards a gem. And she's going to take a Leeching Agate and a Jade for the 5, which gives her a charge. She gets to go again. She's going to cast both sparks. Doesn't matter if they're aligned or not because they only do 1 damage. So that is 2 damage. I'm going to hold on to these 2 sparks because I don't... Or actually, I'll prep 1 to the first position. I'm not going to prep anything in the second because of Quantum Maze. And then this generates 4 Aether. And I will buy 2 more Jades. Just likewise, she got, I think she got 3 Jades. No, she got 2 Jades and 2 Leeching Agates. That's what she got. 2, 3, 4. Oh, she might have got 3. Yeah, she got 3 Jades, 2 Leeching Agates. That's pretty good. Hope you guys have been enjoying the videos. Oh, my subscriber count has recently gone up to 5. That is super exciting for me. Believe me, each one of you who subscribes actually is like a huge, big deal to me. I mean, the fact that if I get 6 views on a video, I get really excited and pumped up about it. So I just want to say thank you for subscribing to the channel, whoever you are, and you're giving me more than enough motivation to keep going, and I really appreciate it. I'm not very good at YouTube, like the technical computer parts of it. I do this all through my phone. I have a laptop, but I don't have Wi-Fi at my house, so I don't do any of this on a physical computer. So I don't know how to find out like your screen names. I don't know how to message you. or any of that, like I would love to personally send you like a direct message and be like, hey, thanks for subscribing to the channel. I don't know how to do that, or if that's even possible, or how to find your screen name or any of that stuff. And all I can do is see your comments and then respond to those if you do that in the video. But just know that if you're watching my stuff and you enjoy it, like I really do appreciate you. Means a lot. Thank you. The way I see it, if I can get 5 subscribers, I can get 5,000. Why not? All right, so Jan gets to go first. She will cast Spark. Again for 1 damage. Ooh, maybe Lava Tendril would be good for this guy. Because you can just... Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would. Okay. Okay. A plan is forming. All right. She's going to prep Spark to 1. And then this is 2. That's 4. And that's 5. 6 towards a gem. And got it Sapphire. Look at that. Man, she gets her economy rip-rolling. No problems. Nemesis, Quantum Maze goes off. If any player has an aligned spell, that player would take 5 damage. That is currently in position 2, so there is no aligned spell. Banesire, 6 life. Unleash. This is probably the least threatening persistent Unleash that I've seen from Banesire this early, but still. Alright, Malister's turn. He has 6, and he takes a Clouded Sapphire. Boom. Alright, that, as far as I'm concerned, their economies are basically good. I can pick up Jades and Agates as remainders, as leftovers from buying other cards. Alright, so we do get Jan next. She's going to cast Spark for 1 to the Banesire. She'll prep these 2, and she has 5 Aether, which is enough for an Essence Theft. Or do I want to grab a Blaze? Oh, she'll grab an Essence. Everybody needs an Essence Theft. One, two, three, four, 5. Okay. And we have Malister. And that's worth 4, 5, 6. So he is going to open his second breach, prep Immolate for 4, and purchase another Jade. Look at those sexy ass hands. Alright, Banesire unleashes. That means moves to the 3rd position. I do not have anything prepped in the 3rd, so that's 3 more damage to Gravehold, drops us to 24. And we pull out Eye of Nothing. Power 2, unleash twice, to discard, spend 6 Aether. So Wayward One doesn't seem super deadly. His biggest problem is that he's very defensive, actually. It's hard to damage him. That's why he only starts with 60 life. So he doesn't seem that bad. Some of his minions that he gets are super defensive too, and just kind of like damage shields. So it's hard to take him down before he gets to tier 3 cards. And if you get some of those tier 3 basic cards, will just chew through you. And he can do stuff like unleash 2-3. Like, so if you unleash 2-3 times, he'll just move through the positions and just discard all your cards. And keep letting himself dig into those higher tier cards. So he's just tough to take down. You need a lot of firepower. All right, he does get to go again, which means we're moving to the 4th position, and again, Grateful takes 3 damage. And that happens too. So he constantly is discarding your cards, doing damage to Grateful. Power token comes off, I have nothing. Any player suffers Radiate. Any player suffers 2 damage, and any player discards a misaligned prep spell. Okay. Malister is going to take 2 damage. Drops him to 8. He does have Immolate Prep though, so he does generate a charge from that. And then Jan's going to discard a Spark. Okay, Jan's turn. She will cast Spark for 1 to the Banesire. Leaves me 4. Prep back to the 1. And this is worth 3, 5, 6, 7. Aether. She'll buy Sage's Brand. That also generates a charge for her from the Sapphire. Nemesis gets to go again. We unleash again. Move to the 1st position. We do have a Spark there, so that prevents the damage to Grateful, but that gets discarded. I have nothing. Unleashes twice. Moves to the 2nd position. Discards the MLA. Moves to the 3rd position, and does 3 more damage to Grateful. And we get Blinking Terror. This minion is assigned to position 3, persistent. Any player loses 1 charge or suffers 2 damage. I don't think I'm winning this round. My economy's great, but I don't know if that's enough. I'm definitely behind. All right, we're going Jan. She's going to prep to position 1. And this is worth 4, 5, 6 towards a gem. She'll get another Clouded Sapphire. Why did I just do that? 2, 3, 4, 5. No more jumps. All right, Malister. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's going to grab a Focusing Orb and a Blaze for Jan. And that also gives him a charge. Okay, he does get to go again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He will grab another Focusing Orb and a Jade. Not terrible. I don't think this is the most synergistic setup. I would love to have 3 spells instead of 4 and 3 relics. I don't know if that's allowed. If you know, let me know in the comments below. It was unclear in the rule book. It seemed like you could do restore however you wanted to. So if you wanted to have only 2 gems and have 3 relics, or 3 spells and have 3 relics, those are options. What I would like to do is have Temporal Helix, maybe out of Flexing Dagger? I don't know. Maybe a blasting staff. Alright, Malister again, nothing prepped. We will prep to position 2. And he generates 4, 5, 6. Once again. He will grab another focusing orb and a charge. And we get Jeanne. She's going to cast Spark on the Banesire. Bring it on to 1. Prep Essence Theft to 2. And Spark to 1. And she generates 5. Grab some Essence Theft. She gets to go again. We're going to cast both the Essence Theft and Spark. Essence Theft is going to do 3 damage, discarding a crystal to heal herself 1. And that 3 damage is going to kill the Banesire. And then Spark is going to do 1 damage to the Blinking Terror. We will then prep Sage's Brand to the 1 and 2. And this is worth 5 Aether. You know what she's actually going to do? She's going to focus her 3rd breach for 3 by a charge. That's what she's going to do with the 5. But she's going to prep Sage's Brand there. Have Spark to the 1. Now, because she uses the Clouded Sapphire, she gains another charge. And she's going to use Black Mirror on Sage's Brand, which will do 6 damage. 2 Blinking Terror because it's in position 3. No, I should have gotten rid of that a while ago. And that's the first cast. And then the second cast of Sage's Brand also does 6 damage, but Wayward 1 is in position 3. So that drops him to 50 life. So I didn't get to take advantage of the extra card draw, but that was still pretty neat. So that's the advantage of having Jeanne with Clouded Sapphire, is you get that charge generation pretty quick, and she only needs 4 charges to get those abilities off. Alright, Nemesis' turn. But I did clear the board, and we get Warper, 9 life. This minion's assigned to position 4. When a player deals damage, that player must deal damage to this minion. So that's kind of dangerous because I don't have either of my 4th breaches opened, and everything. So if I were to cast anything, it will only do 1 damage to him from any other breach. Okay, but he doesn't have a persistent ability, so he just sits there. Okay, and we get Feedback Coil. Power 2, the player with the most misaligned prep spells suffers 3 damage and discards 2 cards. To discard, spend 7 Aether. Alright, we do get Malister. He's got Immolate in position 2. He's going to use Focus. I guess I'll cast it, because there's no point for 1 damage to Warper. There's no real point to hold on to it with Feedback Coil sitting there. Focusing Orb will be used to open his 3rd breach. And then I generate 3, 5, 6, 7 Aether. All right. No. It's 3, 5, 6, 7. So I will buy a charge for 2 and an essence theft for 5. But the sapphire also grants me another charge. I will then use his special ability to purchase a Sage's Brand and prep it to 3. Now, if I cast that, it's still only going to do 1 damage to Wayward. So that's a problem. I'm going to have to do something about that. But fairly happy with how that turn went. Wayward one's fun to fight. I recommend getting this set just for him. Blood one's fine too. But some of these nemesis like Crooked Mask, I'm glad I played him so many times because it made me much better at the game. But he's not fun to play. It doesn't feel good to go up against him. Wayward one feels good. And the Blighted one, Blight Lord, he isn't bad. He's fine. When did I just pull feedback coil? No. I just drew this card. Right. Warper doesn't do anything, so a token comes off. Feedback coil. And unleash twice, any player suffers 2 damage. So that means he goes to the 4th position and then the 1st. 4th position, I do not have a card prep, so that's 3 more damage. 1st I do, so that discards a spark. And then any player suffers 2 damage. That'll be Malister. He doesn't have the Immolate up though. Alright, and we go to Jan. So he's in position 1, so we're going to prep Spark to position 1. And then this is worth 5, 6, 7 Aether. Which to buy Temporal Helix. And that also generates a charge. Nemesis gets to go. Feedback coil activates. Player with the most misaligned prep spells suffers 3 damage. That's Malister. So he's knocked from 6 to 3. And discards 2 cards, so he discards 2 crystals. That hurt. And Pulverizing Ray, power 1, 18 damage to Gravehold. -3 for every gem you discard. I currently have 4. Alright, Jan gets to go. She's going to cast Spark for 1, which hits the Warper. She's going to prep Essence Theft and Blaze. And then this is worth 3 towards a gem, so she's going to buy a Leeching Agate, which gives her another charge. And hold on to the Spark. Alright, and we get Malister. He's going to use the Focusing Orb on his 4th breach, but he doesn't have anything to prep to it. And for 3, he's going to buy a Leeching Agate, which gives him 1 charge. There's no point to cast Radiance because it's only going to do 1 damage. did not get enough spells. He gets to go again. Same thing. Focus the 4th breach. And then generates 4, 5, 6 Aether. Which is enough for an Essence Theft. Not going to win this one, guys. Not feeling too confident. That's okay. I think it's a viable strategy. I just went too hard on the economy, and I didn't grab... I really should have been grabbing those blazes and essence stuffs a little earlier. With some focusing orbs. Nemesis gets to go. Pulverizing Ray kicks off. So what do we got? 3, 6. All these get discarded. That disactivates that. Warper doesn't do anything. Needle Maw, 11 life. Greyfold suffers 2 damage. Okay. Jan. Warper's in the 4th position. Nothing I can really do about it, though. I'm going to cast Essence Theft, discarding a Spark to heal Malister 1. This only does 1 damage to the Warper. And then prep Essence Theft. Yaman, 2 damage to Greyfold, brings us to 13. And we get Fractured Nebula, power 2, shift Wayward 1 to 4. Greyfold suffers 4 damage. Players may collectively discard up to 2 aligned spells, which would have to be in your 4th breach. For each spell discarded this way, prevent 4 damage. It's unlikely I'll be able to do that. Alright, and we're back to Jan. Man. Alright. She's gonna... I'm not gonna... Yeah. No point attacking. I generate 6 Aether. I'll use 4 to focus 4th breach. Drop a Spark to it. And 2 for a charge. Holding on to the Sage's Brand. Mouser gets to go. He's going to leave Radiance. He's going to focus his 4th breach, popping that open, and prepping an Immolate. Okay, he gets to go again. He's going to cast Immolate for 2. Brings Wayward, Warper down to 4 life. And prep Essence Theft. He then has 3, 5, 6, 7. Which is enough to buy a Temporal Helix and generate a charge. It's not impossible for me to pull this out, it's just highly unlikely. I got behind the curve there in the middle and he beat up on me a little bit too much. And I don't have a good answer for this yet. All right, we do get Malster. Okay. He's going to cast Essence Theft and discard a crystal, which is going to heal himself 1. And that 4 damage from that Essence Theft is enough to kill the Warper in the 4th position. So that's cool. I can now attack as normal. So I will also be casting Radiance for 6 to the Needlemaw. I couldn't do that before. And that allows him to draw a card as well as Jan. They both draw crystals. He will use his Focusing Orb to focus Jan's 3rd Breach. And he generates 4, 5, 6 Aether, which he uses to buy a Blaze for Jan and a charge. One, two, three, four, five. Okay, Jan gets to go. Spark has to go off. That does 2 damage to the Needlemaw, brings him to 3. Oh no, I'm sorry, 1 damage to the Needlemaw, leaves him at 4. Because it doesn't get the +1 until that's open. Let's see, that Blaze is worth 2. Yeah, I'm just going to cast them both. Blaze and Essence Theft, so that's worth 5 damage. That's enough to kill the Needlemaw. And I'm going to sacrifice or discard a crystal. Heal Malster 1. Now I will prep a Spark to the 3rd position and Sage's Brand to the 1st. The 3rd is focused from Malister's turn. I'm counting that. I don't see why that wouldn't work that way. I am then going to use Temporal Helix to cast Sage's Brand without discarding it for 6 damage. And that is in position 1, and that will do 6 damage to Wayward 1, bringing him to 44. And then generate 5. I'll just buy a Blaze. And that actually gives her a charge. Interesting. I will activate her special. I'm going to lose the advantage on the Sage's Brand again, but I think it's worth it. I'm going to activate her special ability to double cast Sage's Brand. So it's going to do 12 damage to Wayward 1 position, bringing him to 32. So that is worth it to me. Got to get those double casts. You got to get those casts in when you can. All right, and it is her turn again. Spark's going to go off for 1 damage to Wayward 1, brings him to 32. We will prep Spark to the 2nd position. And this is worth 2, 3, 5, 6 towards a gem. Grab another sapphire? Does that mean? Yeah, why not? That black mirror is so useful. Okay, Nemesis's turn. 1 token off of Fractured Nebula. And we pick up the Venomite. 9 life. Player with the lowest life suffers 2 damage, or any player discards a prep spell that costs 3 or more. Activates again. Fractured Nebula goes off. Shift Wayward 1 to 4. The players may collectively discard up to 2 aligned spells. I don't have any. So that does 8 damage to Gravehold, and that drops us to 5. Then, Fractured or Venomite activates. I do not have any prepared spells I can discard. So lowest life is, she has 8, he has 6. So Mouster takes 2 damage. And then we draw a card. Dispel, unleash twice. The player with the most prep spells discards the most expensive prep spell. So Unleash is going to move in position 1, do 3 damage to Gravehold, drops us to 2, and then move in position 2 and discard that Spark. So not, see what I mean? His turns kick ass. Alright. And we do get Malister. So we're going to prep Essence Theft to position 2. Focusing Orb we're going to just destroy to heal Gravehold. Back up to 5. And then that's worth 5 Aether. Buy another Focusing Orb. Definitely behind the 8 ball here. I still need 12 Aether to open up Jan's Breaches, because I didn't get those Focusing Orbs early enough. So I kind of have to be destroying them now, and it's just unfortunate. Alright, we do get Alistair again. This time he is going to use the Focusing Orb to focus her 3rd Breach. He will cast the Essence Theft though first. Sorry. Which does 3 damage plus 1 point of healing. And the 3 damage to the Venomite drops him to 6. He then generates 4 Aether, which is enough for the last Focusing Orb. Oops. Sorry guys. One, two, three, four, 5. Okay, Jan, where are we in position 2? Essence Theft and Spark, and she has 5 Aether, with which to open her 3rd Breach and buy a charge. There's just not enough damage in these decks right now. She does get to go again. Okay. She's going to cast both the Spark and... No. I think I'm going to leave the Spark. I'm going to cast Essence Theft, though, for 3. Discarding a crystal. Brings the Venomite down to 3. And that heals Malister another point. I will then prep Blaze. And Spark. No, that's fine. And she generates 5 Aether, which is enough for a Blaze, and she gets a charge from the Clouded Sapphire. No, that's fun. Nemesis activates. That discards this Blaze for the Venomite. And Unleash twice. Gravehold suffers 4 damage. Okay. Because it discarded the Blaze from the Venomite, that moves us to the 3rd position. So that's game over. Yeah. He's tough. So he moves to the third position, does 3 damage to Gravehold, then moves to the fourth position, does 3 damage to Gravehold, and then it would do another 4 damage. So that was 10 damage to Gravehold on that card. So the key to beating this guy is he does a lot of damage to Gravehold. Okay. My life is actually okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep Blaze. I'm going to swap out Essence Theft for Feral Lightning. Might swap out Radiance. I think I'm going to swap out Radiance. I'm going to keep Sage's Brand. And I'm going to add in Scrying Bolt. Shit, I don't even need Brahma. Should do Kadir and Lash. That's what I should do, but I've used that combo so many times. Alright, what does Zaxos get me? Zaxos gets me a free charge on my other player's ability. Black Mirror's badass. She's actually really good for him. Maybe Jan and Zaxos? Jan and Lash? I don't know. I said Zaxos and Brahma. I'm going to go Zaxos and Brahma. And we're going to try it and we're going to see. But I think the key here is to get one player's breaches all open, wherever you want to do that, and make sure that person has all the blazes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Zaxos and Brahma. Brahma's going to get all my blazes and temporal helixes, hopefully, whereas Zaxos is going to get all my Feral Lightnings and Focusing Orbs. And then we're going to have Scrying Bolts for Zaxos and Sage's Brands also for Brahma as additional cards to plan. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. I thought that was pretty good. I actually thought I did really good getting him down to half-life. Yeah, Gravehold got taken out right there, but if that hadn't, Jan still had 8 life. Mouser's at 6. This isn't super bad. This was the first tier 3 card to get drawn. And I was just about to pop all these open. So I felt like it was in an okay place. I needed probably 3 or 4 more activations. That's where Lash comes in. Maybe I'll do Lash and Brahma. If I'm going to try Brahma and Zaxos. And then, depending how that goes, I might swap out Zaxos for Lash. All right. Love you guys. Hope you enjoyed. Be good.